Think you'll stick with folk rock, or are you going on into more writing?
I don't play folk rock.
Bob Dylan. The name alone carries the weight of an era. A man who reshaped American music, defied convention, and left an indelible mark on history. But beyond the poetic verses and gravelly voice lies another Dylan. One of immense wealth, real estate, and quiet luxury. From the dimly lit folk clubs of Greenwich Village to a $500 million empire, Dylan's journey is as remarkable as his music. His lyrics spoke to generations, but his financial moves, those tell a different story. One of rare guitars, multi-million-dollar mansions, and a jet-setting lifestyle that most of his fans could hardly imagine. Today, we step beyond the stage and into Dylan's world of lavish homes, vintage cars, private jets, and his latest personal assistant. A life built not just on music, but on mastery. This is Bob Dylan in 2025, and it's a life worth seeing. Bob Dylan's legacy and wealth. Bob Dylan isn't just a musician, he's an institution. His name stands alongside the greatest cultural figures of the 20th century. And with a net worth of $500 million, he's also one of the wealthiest musicians alive today. But how did Dylan turn poetry into a financial empire? It all comes down to ownership and legacy. In 2020, Dylan made headlines when he sold his entire songwriting catalog to Universal Music Group for a staggering $400 million. Every song, every lyric, decades of musical genius transferred in one deal. And he wasn't done. Just a year later, in 2021, he struck again, selling his master recordings to Sony Music for an estimated $200 million. That means while others might own the rights to sing his songs, Dylan secured a lifetime of earnings. And even without those massive deals, Dylan's music keeps generating millions. Streaming platforms alone bring in an estimated $15 million per year as old and new fans alike rediscover his work. But perhaps the most incredible part? Dylan's songs have been covered over 6,000 times, with versions by the Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, and Adele, all pouring more royalties into his accounts. This is Dylan's genius, turning a lifetime of rebellious folk anthems into a fortune that guarantees his music and his wealth will last forever. Bob Dylan's real estate empire. For a man whose lyrics capture the essence of wanderlust, Bob Dylan has certainly built himself a real estate empire worthy of a legend. While he spent much of his life on the road, the properties he's owned are nothing short of extraordinary. Altmore House, Scotland, a poet's castle. One of the crown jewels in Dylan's collection? Altmore House, a majestic 18,000 square foot estate nestled in the Scottish Highlands. In 2006, Dylan acquired this historic property for nearly $3 million, adding a European touch to his portfolio. And in 2023, it hit the market for $4 million, proving that even his real estate investments have an ear for good timing. But this isn't just any countryside manor. Set on 25 acres of rolling green hills, Altmore House is a storybook retreat, blending Victorian elegance with Dylan's artistic mystique. The grand entrance alone is enough to make an impression, leading into a home packed with both history and luxury. Inside, the estate boasts 2 kitchens, a billiards room, and even a Victorian conservatory, the perfect spot for a man known for pondering life's big questions. Step outside, and you'll find an orchard, a croquet lawn, and lush gardens. And of course, there's a dedicated music room, where one can only imagine Dylan strumming away at new melodies, surrounded by the tranquility of the Scottish countryside. For Dylan, Altmore House wasn't just a home. It was a creative sanctuary, a place where poetry, music, and solitude intertwined, much like the landscapes of his lyrics. Manhattan Townhouse. Bob Dylan's connection to New York City is legendary. and his historic Midtown East townhouse is one of the most intriguing chapters of his real estate legacy. Originally built in 1899, this 5-story brownstone exemplified classic Manhattan luxury, an architectural time capsule in one of the city's most prestigious neighborhoods. Dylan first rented the property in the 1980s, a period when he was reinventing himself musically. It was a retreat from the noise of fame, a quiet haven where he could compose and reflect. He later purchased the home, though he eventually sold it in 2005 as part of a shift away from city life. Inside, the townhouse boasted 5,400 square feet of old-world charm, featuring 7 fireplaces, intricate woodwork, and dramatic French doors that opened to a Juliet balcony. A private library added an air of intellectual grandeur, while a luxurious sauna offered the perfect escape from New York's relentless pace. But the townhouse's most breathtaking feature was its 2-story patio, a rarity in the city. The outdoor space not only provided a tranquil oasis, but also granted access to an exclusive communal garden, a hidden gem shared by a select few residents. For Dylan, this home was more than real estate. It was a sanctuary in the heart of the city that shaped his career. Bob Dylan's car collection. Bob Dylan's influence on music is undeniable, but his taste in automobiles? That's another story entirely. While many rock stars flaunt flashy supercars, Dylan's collection is a blend of vintage Americana and modern luxury, reflecting his deep connection to classic road culture and his evolving personal style. Few cars embody Dylan's early years better than his 1959 Chevrolet Corvette C1. With its sleek curves and 250 horsepower V8 engine, this was a machine built for the open road. It's no coincidence that Dylan, who romanticized the highways of America in songs like Highway 61 Revisited, chose this as one of his prized rides. It was more than a car, it was a statement of freedom. Then there's the 1962 Ford Galaxy, a car that defined American roads in the early 60s. With a 170 horsepower engine, it wasn't about speed, but about presence. A perfect fit for Dylan's understated yet commanding persona. The Galaxy wasn't just an automobile, it was a time capsule of small-town America, a recurring theme in his lyrics. And of course, we can't talk about Dylan's vehicles without mentioning his 1964 Triumph Tiger 100. This wasn't a car, it was a motorcycle. And it wasn't just any motorcycle, it was the one involved in his infamous 1966 crash near Woodstock, an event that fueled speculation for decades. That accident marked a turning point in his career, pushing him away from relentless touring and into a more reclusive phase. While Dylan's classic rides defined an era, his modern choice of transportation is all about comfort and security. His Cadillac Escalade is the definition of contemporary rock star travel. With a 420 horsepower V8 engine, tinted windows, and an unmistakable presence, this SUV is built for both luxury and discretion. Unlike his earlier vehicles, which were about speed and nostalgia, the Escalade represents Dylan's later years, a preference for privacy, security, and effortless cruising. Whether he's heading to a secluded retreat or simply escaping the chaos of fame, this vehicle fits his enigmatic persona perfectly. Bob Dylan's private jets and travel. Bob Dylan may be a man of mystery, but one thing is certain. He's never been one to sit still. From his early folk days to his legendary world tours, Dylan has always been on the move, and nothing represents his high-flying lifestyle quite like his use of private jets. His love affair with private aviation began in the late 1960s, as his career skyrocketed. By 1974, he was traveling in true rock star fashion, chartering the Starship, a luxuriously customized Boeing 720 that ferried icons like Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones across the globe. With its plush sofas, wood-paneled walls and fully stocked bar, the Starship wasn't just transportation, it was a flying palace. By the 1990s, Dylan took things a step further, owning his own Gulfstream jet. The Gulfstream, known for its sleek design and transcontinental range, gave Dylan complete control over his schedule, allowing him to maintain his relentless touring pace while avoiding the chaos of commercial airports. This jet wasn't just about luxury. It was a strategic tool managed by his brother David Zimmerman, ensuring that Dylan could effortlessly move between concert venues, secluded retreats, and high-profile meetings. For a man who valued both privacy and efficiency, owning a private jet was a necessity. Even today, Dylan's travel habits remain as elusive as the man himself. He's known to prefer discreet, last-minute flights, ensuring he arrives without fanfare, always one step ahead of the public eye. His legacy may be rooted in folk music, but when it comes to travel, Dylan has always embraced the high life, literally. Bob Dylan's philanthropy. Bob Dylan may be a man of few public statements, but when it comes to giving back, his actions speak louder than words. While he's not one to broadcast his charitable efforts, his contributions, especially toward hunger relief, have made a profound impact. One of his most significant philanthropic gestures came in 2009 with the release of Christmas in the Heart, a holiday album unlike any other. Dylan directed 100% of his U.S. royalties from the album to Feeding America, providing a staggering 4 million meals to those in need. But his generosity didn't stop at the U.S. border. He extended the album's international royalties to support the World Food Programme and Crisis UK, delivering 500,000 meals for schoolchildren worldwide and 15,000 meals for homeless individuals in the UK. Dylan's philanthropic efforts don't begin or end with this album. Over the years, he has quietly supported numerous causes, from disaster relief to education initiatives, always preferring to let his donations do the talking. While some celebrities make a spectacle of their charity, Dylan's generosity remains as understated as his persona, silent but undeniably powerful. Bob Dylan's personal life. For all his public mystique, Bob Dylan's personal life has been shaped by deep and complex relationships. Some legendary, others quietly tucked away from the spotlight. In his early years, Suzanne Rotolo was more than just his girlfriend. She was a muse, inspiring some of his most heartfelt lyrics, including those in the freewheelin' Bob Dylan. Then came Joan Baez, a romance built on shared stages and harmonized voices. They were the it couple of the folk revolution, but their relationship ultimately faded as Dylan moved toward a more private existence. In 1965, Dylan married Sarah Lowndes, a union that lasted over a decade and brought 4 children into his world, plus an adopted daughter from Sarah's previous marriage. His next marriage, to Carolyn Dennis in 1986, was so private that the world didn't even know about it until years after their 1992 divorce. Together, they had a daughter, whom Dylan fiercely protected from the media. Though his love life has been filled with high-profile names, Dylan himself remains an enigma. His relationships, like his music, have been poetic, tumultuous, and deeply influential, shaping both his artistry and his legendary place in history. And with this, we draw the curtains on today's episode. If you enjoyed it, then hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more entertaining videos like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.